if you have been in the country and Americana world recently, you know that over the past, year or two, Morgan Wallen has come under fire for a few different things that he's done. Most recently, there was a video of him where he used the N-word to one of his friends after a night partying. He seemed to be drunk. And there was a big backlash about it. His label suspended him for a little while. His songs were taken off country radio. There were a lot of people that were really, really upset about it. And at the same time, his album sales doubled. And there was a lot of people that were very upset that he was getting so much backlash for this thing. Now, let's start there before we get to the Opry. All right. So, one, in my opinion, using the N-word is a huge deal, massive deal. In my opinion, it is probably the worst word that can be said. I mean, maybe, but how do you feel about how big? Because that's what I feel like. So many people who are trying to defend him, some of their arguments are, it's just not that big of a deal. Like he just said this word. Like other people say that word. So why is it? I mean, how big of a deal do you think it is?
Um, well, I think that it's a big enough deal that we had to catch him drunk in the middle of the night on a security camera saying it. He doesn't consider it to be such a not a big deal that he says it frequently. We haven't heard him say it before that, to my knowledge. But I do think, just culturally speaking, there's a lot of circles of white people and white people mixed with whoever white people might associate with in their lives. But like a lot of circles of white people where that word is not that big of a deal to use. You don't use it in polite company, just like you don't use the F word. You don't use it, in front of someone you think it might offend, but it's a word that a lot of people still use. I mean, I was born in 1979 in Mississippi. I've heard that word a lot of times, and I think it's just an easy thing to avoid now. But I mean, you got to be like honest about it. I mean, I also once asked, is it okay to say that word to your white friends? Obviously, we are understanding, we are being taught in this moment in the culture, no, that's not okay. You know what? Let's just not use this word. Let's just not use it. Like, let's just not use it at all. Let's just remove it from our vocabulary.
It's weird, man, because so as a teacher, I thought that I would not be dealing with kids in 2020. What year is it? 2026. 2026 using the N-word. And I've had multiple kids in our middle school that have gotten caught using the N-word. Now, which is just crazy to me. But so one point I want to make is that it is a huge deal. I don't care that he was drunk. And I just feel like that needs to be said. You would think that doesn't have to be said, but here in Mississippi or here in the South, I think so many people don't think it's a big deal, and I think it's a massive deal. And if we would just listen to voices in our community that are people of color and hear what they say about it, I think we would have some different perspectives on it. But come to current day, so his album sales doubled, and then pretty much the media and his label put him on a redemption tour. Like he was doing the interviews with people who just gave him softball questions, and he he came back very easily. Like, it was not a big deal for him to come back, and he's already doing tours and all this kind of stuff.
Well, I'd say this, like they gave him kind of like a red carpet to do the right thing and put out a good message. And he followed through with that. He stepped right through that golden door and that everybody set up for him so easily. And at least he did it. At least he did it. I don't think it was like an uphill battle for him besides just the like general. It was a lot of, it seemed like a lot of puff pieces.
Like the interview that he had with Michael Strahan, like it just felt like it just felt like Strahan was like, "Do you think racism is bad?" Good. All right. You think racism? Good answer, man. Like, so proud of you. That's so mature that you think racism is bad. Like, there was nobody asking tough questions about the situation, which frustrated me. But that leads us to now. A couple of days ago, what's today? Today's January 11th. So this was 3 days ago. The Grand Ole Opry shared a tweet that said, "Surprise! Morgan Wallen joins Ernest 615." Don't know who that is. You ever heard of that? First off, his name's just Ernest.
It's a band called Ernest.
Is it a band called Ernest?
That's what I think that is.
So Morgan Wallen was invited back, or Morgan Wallen was playing at the Grand Ole Opry. Now, this invited other people to weigh in on the situation. One of those things was Mr. Isbell. Jason Isbell says, "Last night, Opry, you had a choice: either upset one guy and his team or break the hearts of a legion of aspiring Black country artists. You chose wrong, and I'm real sad for a lot of my friends today. Not surprised, though, just sad." Do you think he's being a little over the top with breaking the hearts of a legion of aspiring Black country artists?
Maybe breaking the hearts, because I'll be honest with you. I think that I think there could be a massive amount of disappointment, but there's a running joke on SNL of like, kind of no matter how crazy things are, a lot of the characters are just kind of like, this is how it is. Like, the joke is kind of this long running joke of, it's just now white people becoming aware of what the Black experience is, and Black people basically in those skits being like, yeah, this is how it is. Yeah. All the time. And I think a lot of people maybe have that experience of being like, not surprised,
Yeah. It really hit me when he was talking about aspiring artists, because for me, playing the Opry is a huge dream, like one that I will never experience. But for me is a massive dream, and it's never even entered into my brain how that would be a place that would not accept me. And I just imagine myself as a teenage Black songwriter that is trying to write music, and I look at a place like the Opry, who is making this decision to have Morgan back so soon. And like so many people online have kind of recently thrown out that they're just like, they're kind of done with the Opry. Maybe that's not the place that they want to strive for. They want to strive for places that accept them. I also found it very interesting to know, how many Black artists have actually become members of the Opry?
I do not.
Two
in total.
Two.
So
who? By the way, do you know? Can chat? Do y'all know who those two artists are? All right, Andrea's got one of them. Charlie Pride, of course.
Yeah.
Darius
Rucker being the other one.
Yes, and Darius Rucker. But they just added Charlie Pride like not too long ago. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think it was a long time ago.
So,
and then another point that was made was after the Opry supposedly made this claim that they were going to be against racism and all this stuff, somebody made a really great point. You know how there's a backing band in the Opry?
Mm-hmm.
Ever since all of this stuff has been going on, somebody was like, a great thing would have been hire some black musicians to play in the backing band, or like do something other than just putting out a tweet. Like, so there's just so much lip service to this stuff, and it just feels like nobody's doing anything about it.
Right. Like tangible forward steps that are, quite possible. I mean, quite honestly, should be easy to make,
Yeah.
Should be easy to make those inclusions. But, I think, also people were kind of crying foul because the Opry leaned really heavy in with a tweet that was anti-racist earlier in 2020, right? Is that also mentioned in the article you read? A lot of the outrage is not just an attack at the Opry for having him on. It's doing such a controversial and questionable thing.
Here it is.
After they've made this stance.
Racism is real, is unacceptable, has no place at the Grand Ole Opry. And this was in June 9th of 2020.
Yeah, so this is in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of all this social unrest around George Floyd's murder. And, I think that was a really easy time to make such a statement.
Woo, real easy.
Yeah. So yeah, man, as hard as it is to, as hard as it is to sit in judgment of anybody, I just feel like there's probably a good few people I can imagine that were really optimistic, really feeling some hope about, things changing, maybe in Nashville, or things changing in the community, or things changing in the industry. And for them to see Morgan Wallen on stage at the Opry after the Opry had a big 2020 tweet, that's probably very difficult for some people, I would imagine.
So yeah, those are our thoughts on the Grand Ole Opry, Morgan Wallen, and all the backlash. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about it.